Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Locked On Heat. I'm Wes Goldberg, and in a minute, I'll be joined by Kyle Guy, who I spoke with a couple days before he signed this second 10-day contract with the Heat. But I think you're going to find this conversation interesting because you'll learn a lot about Kyle. We get into how the Heat have been tracking him for years, how he got the call that Miami wanted to sign him, and then learn more about his personality and how he feels about being compared to Jack Harlow. So here it is. I hope you enjoy. A disclaimer for those watching on YouTube, this is a recorded phone call, so we won't have video to go along with it. As always, you can watch the show every day, Monday through Friday on YouTube, or listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts.
You are Locked On Heat, your daily Miami Heat podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for taking a few minutes here. I do really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just hanging out in Phoenix, so all good.
Tell me about that day that you signed. That was about a week ago. Where were you? What were you doing? And did you have any indication that the Heat might be interested in you and would be calling?
Yeah, so I was just hanging out in Cleveland, practicing with the G League team, waiting for the season to start back up. I had just got off the health and safety protocols because I had COVID through Christmas, so I had to turn down a couple 10 days during that span. And so I knew there were teams interested, but I didn't know the Heat were interested. They had kind of flirted with me throughout the draft process and the last 2 years, but nothing ever came to fruition. So I didn't really have them on the radar per se, but my agents called me. I was going to go to Orlando, and then they called me back and said, "Hey, actually, we're going to go to Heat. Good opportunity for you. Good situation." So that's kind of how it came to fruition. They called me at like 11 at night, and I was on a plane at 5:30 the next morning.
So you had to wait because you've heard stories like this, or I have. I mean, about players in a similar situation having to turn down these 10 days because they had been in the health and safety protocols. But you were set to go play for the Orlando Magic on a 10-day, and then the Heat just call you, or you get the call from your agent out of the blue, and you're like, all right, the Heat, that's what we're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was set with Orlando, but they were pretty interested, and we thought they were going to offer a 10-day pretty soon, and Miami didn't hesitate, and they just said we need him, and think it's a good spot, so they called me back, and that's what happened.
What did you know about the Heat organization beforehand? What was your reaction when you heard that the Miami Heat wanted to sign you and that they weren't hesitating? And what was just your impressions of the organization, before you had gotten here?
Yeah, super heralded organization. They run a tight ship, but with freedom involved, which I think is a great way to go about it. Coach Bo is not quite what I expected, but way better. I didn't really know what to expect, but he's just a really good coach and super personable and a player's coach. So that's been awesome. I knew Gabe Vincent really well, and I knew Caleb Martin well enough beforehand that, I had talked to them about the Heat organization and what it's like. So, and Nemanja Bjelica is one of my closest friends, and Zach, and he had a short stint with Miami. I knew D-Mac, Dwayne Dedman from Sacramento also. So I knew a lot of the guys, which is helpful, and they kind of helped me prepare for the Heat.
Or is Gabe and Caleb? I don't even know if you've been around Gabe, since he's been in the protocols. But are those kind of the guys that you've been closest with, and have you sort of formed any bonds, kind of gravitated to any of your new teammates?
Yeah, Gabe's not here, unfortunately, but he's definitely the dude I'm closest with on the team. But I've gotten super close with Caleb Martin over this trip. Max, obviously, I knew a little bit beforehand also, just kind of through social media and stuff. And we're cool, and obviously the people I already mentioned, I knew beforehand, so that always helps. And then the 10 days, it's easy to get along with because you're kind of in the same position. It's like, wow, I was in a whole nother city last night. Now I'm here, fighting for a job and whatnot. So it's easy to bond with them. And then the vets on the team, PJ, Jimmy, and Kyle, and Dwayne, they're super personable, like willing to give tips, just talk about life, shoot the shit, play cards, whatever. So that's been nice too.
Can you tell me about that day where you signed? I imagine you flew straight to Houston. You don't, I mean, at the end of the day, I know that it's basketball, but there are differences between every team, the way that they call plays, some of the sets that they want to run and things like that. I mean, you go out and you shoot 6 threes in that first game in Houston, have a great game. Can you just tell me a little bit about how crazy, hectic of a day that must have been for you, and then it culminating in a good performance for you?
Yeah, so I was in San Antonio
Okay.
for that game, and obviously got postponed, canceled, whatever. But then, they told me from the get go, like, hey, if you're open, you shoot the ball, play your game, play defense, play hard, and everything will take care of itself. And that's pretty much my game in a nutshell, anyway. So, just kind of worked out. I'm a fearless player, so shooting shots is not an issue. Being aggressive, getting in the paint, playing hard-nosed defense, that's all kind of my attributes. So the way they play just came easy to me.
You've spoken about meditation in the past. Where did you pick that up, and kind of why did you get into it?
Yeah, my trainer back home in Indiana, his name's Derek Grant. He got into it first. And just pretty much anything he tries out first, he then brings to me if he thinks it's worth it. And that was one of the things he definitely co-signed. And, I got into it, gave it a chance with open arms. And, one of the better things that I've come across in my life thus far is just being present, being where my feet are, and taking those times to reflect, visualize, be grateful, whatever exercise I'm doing.
And how did that sort of factor into your journey so far? I mean, you've gone from Sacramento to the G League and to the the wildness of this 10-day contract stuff and COVID and everything. I mean, how has it really helped you through all this? I mean, professionally, and I would imagine personally, probably too.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely keeps you grounded. Nothing's guaranteed, and everything's so fluent, especially the past 2 years. There's the old saying, just flow like water from Bruce Lee, and it might be a little cliche, but it definitely applies. Just kind of go with the flow, whether it's a gut punch or it's, on a high or an accomplishment. You just kind of keep it pushing, and we've had a lot of ups and downs through my career. Not a lot of people believing in me, which is fine because I got enough belief in myself for everyone. So again, staying grounded, never getting too high, never getting too low, which is something I learned from Coach Bennett at UVA. So just everything I've ever learned or been through kind of culminates and expresses itself through me in these moments.
Today's episode of Locked On Heat is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all of the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. And I know these are very different sort of circumstances, but when you walk into, the Miami Heat locker room that first time and you're talking with the coaches and they say, hey, look, man, if you're open, just let it fly. Go ahead and shoot it. You talk about the belief you have in yourself, but obviously the Heat saw something in you. You talk about how they were interested in you in the pre-draft process and things like that. To see that belief returned to you, I mean, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely, it's a gratifying feeling, and definitely shows. It's a external showing of the work that I put in, and the belief that I have in myself is paying off because obviously they see that and value that, and that goes a long way. So it means a lot that they have that trust in me from a early starting point. Kind of, I obviously knew who I was, and I kept tabs on me, but I had never been in their organization until that Houston game. So,
Um, you mentioned, being really close with Gabe Vincent. Where did that relationship come from? How did that get started?
we played in Stockton together my rookie year.
Okay.
And before he got called up, me, him, Eric Mika, Isaiah Pinheiro, Marcus Graves, a lot of other guys from that Stockton team. It was just one of the closer teams I'd ever been on. And, definitely someone I can call my brother. So that's just kind of how that happened. Super happy for him when he got the two-way with the Heat. We've just kept in touch ever since.
And then when you kind of look at some of the other teammates too, I mean, you've got Jimmy Butler there, who's one of the leaders in that locker room. When you see him flipping off his teammates like Max Strus and cursing out some of these guys on social media, he's got a very unique personality, I think is a polite way to describe it. How would you kind of describe that leadership style, or would you just the personality? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, number one, he's super down to earth, super easy to talk to, likes to joke around and have fun. He's a super good leader. Definitely one of the first I've met with this leadership style, but I like it, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, sometimes when I'm at home or whatever, or my friends, like, I'll flick them off, and that's like a sign of like affection for me. Is if I flick you off, that means that I love you or like you're my guy. So I resonated with that, and again, he's a really good dude, and he leads by example as well, which is all you can ask for.
So then, would the ultimate compliment for you be Jimmy Butler flipping you off?
Yeah, then that's how I know I made it. When he flips me off, then I know that I'm in a good place.
Going back a little bit further, I just curious: can you step onto the Virginia campus and not be recognized at this point? I mean, maybe the hair helps, but
yeah, the hair definitely helps. Outside of the campus, I look like a normal dude. Maybe even like a hippie or a coach or something. So I love that aspect. But no, when I'm in Charlottesville, it's pretty much when I'm in Charlottesville, it's not as easy to hide.
Do you go back often? When was the last time you were back?
So believe it or not, I haven't been back since our ring ceremony my rookie year. But with COVID, and then I just had a kid and stuff, It's just been really hard to get out there. But this summer I've made it a point. I'm going back regardless. I got to finish a degree before they retire my jersey, so I'm definitely making that a priority.
What's the degree going to be in?
I am an American Studies major with a sign language minor. So.
Gotcha. What's your favorite part of history, American history? Favorite time era.
So I got a lot of military in my family, so anything war related is definitely right up my alley. My dad's a Marines, uncle, couple grandpas, aunt, etc. My cousin's at the Naval Academy now, other cousins at the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. So it runs deep. So that's my favorite time, but I'm more so on the visual and pop culture history side of that major. So I'm huge into movies and books and music and stuff.
Favorite movie?
Inception or Interstellar, depends on the day.
Our conversation with Kyle Guy continues after this. So I got to ask about the Jack Harlow lookalike comparison. Do you see it?
Right. Yeah, I see it. I definitely saw it more when my hair was a little shorter. But now I pretty much rock it slick back when I'm not playing, so I don't look like him at all.
Right.
But when I'm playing, I see it, especially when I'm not taking care of myself and have a little scruff going on my face. So I definitely see it. I was growing my hair. It's funny because I was growing my hair out like that when his first song dropped.
Right.
So I kind of already had the hair when he was getting famous, but then I cut it because I didn't really like it for basketball season. And then this year I got cut and nobody signed me, so I was in a kind of a fuck you stage, so that's why I grew back out.
So maybe they should be saying how Jack Harlow looks like Kyle Guy instead.
Yeah, maybe.
Since you grew the hair out first. So now that we're I guess, a little bit more than halfway through your 10-day, and just the temporary nature of these contracts and things like that. I mean, what do you hope happens when this 10-day is up?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is we're not just trying to sign 10 days with any team that needs a player. Obviously, we're not just going to turn them all down and not play. But at the end of the day, we're trying to find a spot for the future. If that's Miami, great. If it's not, I'm always auditioning for 29 other teams. So I don't know what's next. I'm trying to, again, this is that be present mindset, just taking it one day at a time, getting ready for Phoenix, and then we'll see what ensues.
Kyle, I really do appreciate the time again. Have a great rest of your night, and good luck in Phoenix this weekend.
Thanks, man. You too. Have a good one.
You too.